going to get bored. And it's going to be a fast-paced game as well, so it's open. Anyhow, just giving some instruction to some spectators there to try and get them a better vantage point for this game. Number 2 seed, Maverick, wearing white. We've seen them have some issues. They've actually gone down to a shorter roster here for this game. Injuries have taken a couple players out. Leffler still out, not cleated for this game, which is tough. I wanted to see this young lad play all season. I remember when he was just a wee toddler about 2-3 years ago, and he played a great game then, and he's become less apathetic since then, which is the important part, and has allowed him to excel in the open division. Bacon also out. Lee Gonzalez out at the current time because of some back issues. Opening horn, we are now ready, and the pole comes from GT. GT wearing blue. The pole goes OB. Let's talk about GT very quickly. Looking like they are the number 2 team here right now. In fact, tomorrow in the second game, we're going to get to see them play Phoenix. I think they have what it takes to become the number 1 team out of Ontario, heading to CUC. Sanderson with the disc, horizontal stack, but lots of pressure. Higgy slipped up a little bit. Lots of pressure here. Brent needs to move that disc. And it's a turnover. Leo on the mark there. Doesn't appear to be contested that it was down. Oh, actually, sorry, that was Dave, not Brent with the disc. Apologize.
Look at Ryan. Ryan's post.
Aiden sends it over the top. And good pressure, D. Fortunately, floated just a little bit and was coming out of the sun as well. Both of those things make it tougher. Another good cut. Carl with a great cut. Lots of pressure. Matt sends it out deeper. Oh, that was catchable. Sorry, I'm not seeing it where it is on the field. But it felt it was catchable. Regardless, I think the adjustment and the call to adjust came a little bit too late, and that was the issue there. Sideline needs to be more active. I have no idea how active the far sideline is, but I can't hear them. I can hear them from the GT side, though. Rose, wait up. Until this point's over. Oh, fantastic D! Dan Berenger getting that back. Higgy running by. They're setting up a vertical stack here. 3 handlers. Maverick has made the adjustment. And Behrens runs, makes a deep strike. Matt's there, and Poach off of the stack does not get anything. Now this play here is a little bit physical. I do play physical as well, but this is differently sort of physical. Rose. I said wait. This point's over. Dave gets it. Gives it to Berenger, and Berenson, it's dropped, but he was pushed as well at the same time. I think he's calling a foul. Disc comes back to Dave. Right, disc back in. Leo's on the mark, but there's a violation call. Higgy just describing what's happened. Because it wasn't a contested foul, Behrens gets it back. He gets to walk it, tap it. But tap it actually at the point of where the foul happened. Rahil coming in from the far sideline. veteran players here having to help with the rules. This is a known rule, but not as well known. And there's a lot of rules to this game. And in general, though, Higgy knows them because he's been on many of the committees that have approved those rules, or at least some of them. We will try to bring you the result of that Whiplash Alliance game. And another tough throwaway there in the end zone. My parents' van is over there by that garbage can. It has 2 cushions in the back that you can sit on. We'll call it. Or it's in the car. Pick called. Sorry, lots of conversations going on at the same time as this game is going on. Got a little bit of piece of that. It's a good mark. Great layout. Behringer's just absolutely putting it on. Big Huck goes up. Lots of pressure. And, oh, I'm sorry I missed that. Just a little bit, but Higgy got the D. Once again, Maverick gonna have to work it back full field. I believe this is the first point still. Yeah. That's good to know.
Come on, Will.
Matt with a nice low grab. Great energy in this game, though. And there goes Carl. And it should have been a shot, but and it's a turn. I think Matt thought there was a call, and I think that's what's been happening is that there was a call, so that's why the disc is going back. Hey, be louder with your foul calls. Sorry, just heckling a little bit there. Nobody on the field knows what's going on. It's rookie errors happening. And GT gets the break, but not for lack of effort on either side. That was a good first starting point. Both teams have kind of felt each other out. You might sense a little bit of frustration from me up here. I'd like there to be a little bit of a faster game here. Both of these teams, I played with them, played against them. Well, players at least on the teams, and they're fantastic to play when they're in the mode to play. And I think everyone's in the mode to play, or mood to play at least, but it's a little bit difficult. Especially when when they're slowing down here at the end of the day on a hot day, they're a little bit tired. GT pulling now. They got another D-line on. Maverick, it's looking pretty good there. They've got a younger O-line on. It's an important game for them to win. Wind, gentle, coming from the south. We're facing south at the current moment. Sorry, the field runs east-west. Big pull-up. It's hanging a little bit in the end zone. He's looking for the huck. He's looking for Russ now. He's going to run it down. Oh my goodness, that was a fantastic layout D. And then Russ says that it was his fault he didn't pick it up earlier, but he thought he could run it down. Great defense. GT's playing a 2-5 here as well, just with the two handlers. And they're really cycling well. The third has been cycling from the stack. Now they've gone up to the third. Foul called. And a lot of pressure there on the disc. It's good to see as well. GT moving it fairly well, but it's starting to get messy downfield. They need to reorganize. Easily taken high. I think the most impressive thing that's happened is that if you look at the GT player with the disc, whenever he looks at the handler's been tracking him and instantly makes a cut. Those cuts also come right around 3 or stall 3 or 4. So they've got great discipline. Russ gets another shot, gets up line. Nice. Easy, open. Great huck play. Great play call as well. The play started back here on the cone. It was swung to the middle. Russ then, who was at the cone, cut across the field, got it about there in the middle of the screen, and then there was a huck, and then you saw the rest of the play from there on. Very good movement. Ones all around. If you're watching this game at home, thank you for joining us. Brought to you by ODSA. Of course, I Am Ultimate. We're seeing a lot of great Ultimate today. A lot of good talent. Speaking of talent, GT, of course, a feeder team for the system. Short pull there from Maverick. Could have been better. Nice big huck. And that was a little bit quick. For the backhand force, a lot of favor amongst the teams to have that force here. So moving on, talent, GT, of course, players looking to move on up, move up to GOAT. Toronto Rush, it's an interesting sort of thing how the Rush has become the stepping stone to GOAT now. And it always felt like, and we saw that in the past few years, is that you needed a team that allowed you to transition between GT and GOAT, because of how good GOAT's become, and also because of how many players have come in at the GT level, but not only the GT level, but at the level just before GOAT. And so we saw that with FTG, or Feed the Geese, the last few years. And they filled that role and allowed the system to develop, and did a pretty good job of it. So I think this is a great step forward for many of these players. A lot of new faces, a lot of good speed. And so far we have a fairly even matchup with Maverick. And we have to remember Maverick is also missing some of their top players here right now. There are many other players that would normally be playing here with them aren't playing going to nationals this year because of the double nationals here, or double nationals out west. So they are playing on Goose, which is also why Goose is as good as it is there are some great top players on it. Long times between these poles. No observer for this game either. We will get some more tomorrow. To be very honest, there was some... Oh, that's a great grab. And a foul called. Higgins with a disc. Oh. It's a great D. I've seen that player making some very good movement. And unfortunately that throw was just behind the cutting Maverick player, which points to some timing issues. Great grab in the end zone there. That disc was moving. We're looking at some pretty strong ultimate year coming out of Toronto. Not to say that Maverick isn't strong. They are, as mentioned, missing some players. They are going to be improving and getting better. And with Nationals switching back, we presume back east next year, we should see a stronger team at that time.
Leo, Aiden, how about the mids? As in like the middle. Dave, put a point up for us.
Anyhow, another long pause between points. Oh, great hanging disc there. Just goes OB. Sorry, I'm distracted by a conversation. Foul called on the throw. It's going to come back, which means you get to see this play again. And I hadn't missed it. Just getting results from the conclusion of the Alliance Whiplash game. And I'm sorry if your stream dropped out right now as well. I will go and fix that between the next points. And they're going to let him have a shot at it. However, too much speed there on that side for that force side throw. I guess we have an unofficial lost and found that's happening here around our broadcast location. Oh, nice floaty big pass, but it's going to be easy to grab. The timing's really good, and a big huck. Huck there by JJ Santos, who learned how to huck from, actually, what's that, JJ? I don't think so. Might have been. However, oh, just a little cluster of players. So there's a offense, you know, points to how new these players are. They were tried to make a pick call on there, and that did not fly. Sanderson with the disc, upline cut attempt by Matt. It's just not had, but there's no movement from the stack, and he has to put it. And the disc just floating out of bounds past the camera here. A little bit of sarcasm there from the GT player as well, Andrew Leo, as he ran by. But he is known to be sarcastic. GT now here with a good shot at the end zone. Probably should update the score as well. And recovered. And GT, easy-ish point at the end, but again, lots of turnovers, pointing to these two teams being at fairly even levels. Steph, do you know the score? Okay, thank you. Regardless of GT being up 4-1 at this point, levels are fairly decent. Timeout called. I'll be right back, going to check on the stream. And you can let me know how annoying I am, or what to say and what not to say, when via Twitter or email. Thank you for joining me again. quite a bit identifying plays. This is a vertical. What team is what? Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, you'll do fine. Sorry, I just missed that point there very quickly, but now we're back. Aiden swings it back towards the middle. You have good cutters there, good adjustment. These passes are also pretty crisp. Deep huck possible, but Andrew Higgins covering, so it's I think there's a little bit of discussion about whether that was a travel or not.
Hey, Will, you were on the open side on him. Will, you had a couple of steps on him, the open side. Right, go for it. When the trouble happens,
Risky pass pays off. That was not necessarily the smartest pass or cut. We had 2 or 3 players going up line right into that. That always leads to problems. Scores now 5-1.
Never mind. Mike! I just called Leo slower than you. Because you are reasonable with reasonable time. GT, get down here. Hey, there's really no issue. Wait. Guys. And where is... Don't touch it.
Some friendly chatter on the sideline between the GT and Maverick players, in particular Andrew Higgins. Andrew Leo, who's on GT and one of the captains this season, went to and played with Higgy as well as Bacon when he was in London at Fanshawe. So good London Ultimate collection. Pick called. So, update on Alliance versus Whiplash. They finished their game. The final result was 13-9 for Alliance. And it seems Alliance maintained their margin. Matt now with a disc. Staying a little bit deeper. And boxed out at the end. Good movement from there from Maverick. Once they're creating that space, they've done a good job. And I think that case was one of the first situations in quite some time where we've seen them create that space. Even so, there were 2 defenders going deep with the 1 player. It is a play they're anticipating, and that throw and that timing needs to be just right, if not perfect. So a bit of an upset for Whiplash. And Alliance very strong. And I think more than anything, Alliance's zone, just phenomenal. I'm going to try and get that first part of that video up today, or at least watch it. Whiplash was playing well. Take nothing from them, but their ability there to get those turns against Whiplash was just very impressive. Anyhow, turning back to this game. It looked like a split stack there. And there was a call from the sideline from Maverick saying that they should have pressured that. And absolutely, for how far across that split stack that disc came, the stack defenders should have been able to poach. Break, and that was a bit too easy, but that was a good heads-up defense. Far sideline is Craig Hyatt with a little bit of neon green. He's been playing with Goose because he can't make it to Nationals. He is, of course, an original Maverick player, I believe. He's also on Liquid. Travel called. To be very honest with you, this is a very young Maverick line. I've not seen many of these players locally before. Oh, that's unfortunate. Rahil gets the D. Plays through no matter what. Rahil unretired this year. Come out and play GT. And he's getting back in shape. He's going to be going to Nationals. Alex with a punt. Deep. It's floating. It's close to being out of bounds. And it is OB. Just one step too far. That's the right idea by Vlahos, but the wind grabbed it and took it. Really far mark. Rahil with his one of his clutch hand blocks. Number of times I've seen that. And him get that hand block. I think I've seen it at least 20, 30 times, minimum. And disc going out, there is some discussion about whether the Maverick D had touched it or not. Play call, quick discussion there on the sideline. good energy from this young line. Hit called. And unfortunately, there was no call from the Maverick sideline to tell him what was going on. It's a very quiet line, and as I've complained about this before, it's something that needs to improve. Rahil calls a timeout. And another long point here. I'm going to double check what the score is. Hey, Leffler, score? All right. And I have not been keeping up. It is, in fact, 5-2. Having to do a lot of different tasks. I might have to get an assistant tomorrow to help out with this. Pretty interesting style contrasts from the two, but in the last probably in the last 10 minutes, especially with a younger line from Maverick, we've seen more aggressive play coming out, and they've been moving a bit more like GT, been challenging them, and it's been paying off right up until the flow stops. And I think that's where I've been a little bit interested in seeing how they're going to solve that situation. Andrew Higgins kicking someone's hat around the sideline. Rahil adjusting the sideline there. He expects that to go up. And a bit more care taken there when the defense was collapsing around the offensive player. But jumps in to make it, I believe, 6-2 now. And GT about to take half if they can break here. Maverick, still plenty of time in this game.
Hey, 2 shots, 5-2 or 6-2? 5-2. 6. In 7 years, man. How's it going? You guys are 2-2? Did you get hammered yesterday or what?
No, these were our lines. We had a
right after timeout when we go to play.
It's a little bit of a hold for Maverick to dig out of here, but it's doable. Their important games now are versus Too Bad and Firebird. That will decide whether they end up in a position to fight for heading to CUC or not. Big pole goes up. It's hanging, but going out of bounds. Russ with the disc. Bringing it at the break. Horizontal stack set up. It's a little bit deeper, and it's actually falling back more and more. And Higgy's gone. He's
Hey, it's coming up. You're fine. Hold side.
Russ makes a great power move up. And there's a pick called. Carl. He's really using that arm to try and clear people out. Unfortunately, throws too straight. Foul called. Zeros.
Go back. Still no back. Go back. Middle. Go right. Strike.
Andrew Leo sends it back. Dump.
Go, Aaron. Go. In, Aaron. Ryan, go.
They didn't call for him to really go. Pick calls. Very messy field position right now. Needs to be cleaned up. Collapses to a vertical very quickly and very nicely. A little bit of unexpected there. Not in. And then an easy flip in. But there's a call, travel call on the pass before the one. Leo trying to milk that in. It's good awareness, though, that you can actually do that. And that's halftime. All right, keys to the game so far. GT's been moving it decently well, but has still had a few turns. I think a lot of those turns have actually come from just risky throws. Their deep throws haven't worked as well as one would expect. Maverick just generally not been moving it perfectly through the midfield, and that's what you need to do. And so there's been quite a few unforced turns, and it's something we've seen throughout the day with their, well, at least their earlier games. So it is something that they could possibly clean up. We now see a larger gathering in the middle of more Maverick players, and you can see quite a few that aren't playing this game or are from Goose. Anyhow, take a quick break and then come back to you soon.
Dude, you're so red, man.
I'm red?
No.
Like on a scale of like 1 to 10. I want it to go, but it's like no, okay, that's better, but we haven't been on the field together. Hey, good.
Kill it in the car wash.
I remember Brian was covering the whole play. Both of them. This whole play was just like
You don't have to banana.
oh, it was just like I grabbed it and so because I was still low. What the hell? No, O-line.
Too much on.
It's hot.
Just the bare minimum to get you through the game. Not at the moment.
I went full boom and it smacked me in the face last
Welcome back here to the second half of the game. Pole just went up, as caught. I'm on the ball. And very short pass. Vlahos is wondering what happened there. He was wide open, streaking for the end zone. But they're shaking it off. Home force called. Let's see how it works. That's a tough one. Rahel to the middle, flips it out. Watch Rahel adjust there. So he's watching the play. He doesn't have to be streaking, but he can be adjusting. And he's adjusting, coming back in line, but not too quickly. Because if he came back in too quickly, he'd take away that throwing lane. If he comes in, and what will basically happen is that the person with the disc will look at him, and he'll be able to make a quick, sharp cut in any direction and be open. GT, get the break. Sorry, not the break. They maintain the point coming out of half. Maverick had the chance to break, but once again got shut down. And I think that's what they're really lacking once again is that handler movement. But as they've stated, and quite publicly, they're lacking handlers. And that's just part of the rebuilding process.
Sidelines, that'd still be big. It's up to you. Oh, it's not even looking at me. Damn it.
Just some GT players who are excited to be on camera, or at least they were. It's now tracking him. This is a little bit of an inside joke because he was really trying to be on camera just moments ago. And now he is. Pull coming up from GT. It's sharp and fast. A little bit of stutter step there from Russ. The stack in the meantime is adjusting and moving downfield. Russ is really working it, has the opportunity to do so. Big hook. And it's hanging. This would be tough. That was... I stayed from the sideline. That would have been insane if he'd caught it. There's a lot of pressure on that one. It should have been a sharper throw. It should have come in a little bit sharper. But the wind here has switched again. It's now coming from the west, so it's actually coming from the right of the camera now. So there was a foul called. A little bit of chatter here now from the Maverick sideline. Leo slips. Lots of deep options. That's a great catch, especially to come and turn around. And GT now leading 9-2. Score starting to look a little bit like that Phoenix game. Phoenix being as physical as they have been. They're in a good position, GT that is, to take on Phoenix. So it's interesting to see how it plays out. Wonder how the live stream's doing. Any dropouts recently for folks?
Wants a banana? You have banana? I know, you go over there. Oh, there's no more bananas. I want to check.
I've recently updated some more settings.
Yeah, man, I checked everywhere. There are 2 tables. Okay, I'm not an idiot. Oh, he went there? He's like, oh. I didn't know there was a second table until like halfway through. Oh, let's go back. Yeah. Was it there? I did a throw. Nice. Attaboy. It's on the sky.
JD Hamill, if you're watching, let me know. Let me know if you're having any issues with the stream. Aiden with the pull. It's a low, sharp one. Quick. It's allowing lots of quick movement, and field position has been gained rather quickly. And still no movement. And a throwaway, unfortunately. Snagged off the ground. Barrett's great heads up D. He's one of those players that's been playing with Matt Snow and a few of the other players for, and like Andy Ray, for probably 3-4 years now. And he's rather good at defense and rather good at indoor ultimate. And he's decided to start playing some more of this outdoor stuff. So he's really come in as a development player and improving substantially. And once again, good D on a poor throw, which just got over the stack. I must say it, this sort of play from GT isn't going to win against Phoenix. at least on offense.
Hey, Hans, that's you. Last back, Hans, last back. Will, last back.
Pick called.
Pick called.
So these throws are a little bit difficult to catch, and they don't need to be as tough as they are. Good reset there from JJ Santos. Oh, and throw just a little bit too hard and strong. In and out of his hands.
Big D, Hans, a big D. Will, last back. Hey, Hans.
And GT's been in this position quite a few times at this point. They really need to score. Travel called. Andrew Higgins with a fantastic D on the far side. But foul called on the throw. Another foul called on the throw. It looked like that throw was a little bit too hard and straight. Unfortunate change in coverage there led to that point and a shift to that point. 10-2 now. GT lead over Maverick. I think we can focus on some of the positives here. Maverick has forced, I don't know what, five turns from GT on that point. Their defense is quite good. And we saw the same thing against Phoenix. They can go through and create those turns when they're keyed in. And it might seem like they're just kind of not forcing them, but positioning is very important.
I told my feet jump and like nothing happened. Get some ice. Oh wait. Yeah, baby. What you need. But the thing is, you can't take too much time.
Big floaty pole going out of bounds from GT. It's really something these teams need to work on, are their pulls. Especially when there's not that much wind. And it's really consistent, especially on these fields. They don't really change as you're walking along. It's fairly steady. And especially when you're throwing this direction and you can get the sun into someone's eyes, you do want to do that on a pull.
Mark, you gotta stay closer. You gotta stay closer. Aaron. Come on. Contain that king up. Leo. Come on, Ron, you're hot, Ron. That's it, Kelvin. Let's move, Kelvin. Set that stack. Get something set. Go.
Journal entry.
Woo!
A good point there at the end. Good patience. Maverick has good movement down the field on that one. GT a little bit frustrated by themselves. They've basically been marching so far.
Carl, what'd you do with that bottle? That bottle. Oh, okay. I see it. Yeah.
We're going to be coming to the end of our first day of broadcast here. This game finishing in 25 minutes in terms of the time slot. Tomorrow morning we will see probably Union play against perhaps BFC. I'm not sure. We'll need to double check in on that. Good pull. Rajos centers it. There's a lot of cuts immediately, but no mark.
Come back in. No in. Don't let him come back in.
And a throw right into traffic. And a foul called on the throw. He's putting his body on the line. When the big guy puts his body on the line, that brings his team up. I just need to not necessarily nod. Not in, but I think there was either a violation or a pick. But the game is being played on last game of the day. Confusion reigns a little bit more. And Hammer goes up over the top. Jump ball. And comes down hard, but hangs on to it. Maverick break, I believe. It's 10-4. Part of the issue I'm seeing there is that there was no options. There were no options. They still had one handler back and a crowded end zone. And if you're GT and you're letting that throw go up, and it's essentially a bit of a hospital pass, you're going to come down with it or at least block it more often than not. And you just have to live with that, so to speak. Rahal gets once again sender. And Vlahos goes deep. They've switched off, but the huck still goes up. And I think there was just a bit of slowness there on the cut.
Hey, get it back right here.
Miscommunication again.
Let's go. Heads up, GT. Hey guys, we got to be big on the sidelines right now. Big sidelines, boys. Let's help. I got you, Huang. Ron, you dead?
Man, you're hot,
No
man.
breaks, no breaks.
Man, you're good. You're hot. Right back.
Close.
Good movement.
Matty honest.
And Maverick break again. And we're seeing that when they're moving space, they're getting that space. They're very hard to stop. And just like that, it's 10-5. A timeout called. So I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Apparently the stream's doing a lot better, which is good to hear. Good to hear Carson Turner. Says mobile stream is money. Stream has been live for a whole game. Glad so many of you are using the mobile stream. But I think I found a connection system to make that work. I'm interested in seeing how many people with the desktop stream have been able to use it. The normal PC stream. All right, let's see what GT can do coming out of this timeout. This evening has cleared up in terms of any clouds, and it is hot again. Really hot.
All right, let's go, Trump. Let's go, GT.
Santos grabbing the disc. This is Jack McDonald. Oh, fantastic break. Oh, and then just off of Alex's fingertips. Bit too much mustard on that one. That's part of being a handler is the control. Is making a throw catchable. Unfortunate drop just outside the end zone. Looking for the deep options here. I mean, quite honestly, they can have them if they want them. You can see it. They're just testing. Calls for spread out from the sideline. Maybe you overheard that on the stream. Floaty play. Alex grabs it. 4 point. It's been a tough day for all the teams here. Hard games all around. And tough games imply a lot of good talent. At least talent that's relatively at a similar level. It's a pull, lands, doesn't roll, but there's lots of pressure right away. A little bit of a collision there on the sideline, but the throw was going out of bounds and ended up out there. Aiden brings the disc up now. There's a horizontal stack. It's tighter. It's about 15. They're playing with in an attempt to do a break huck to the far side of the field, but it came off a little bit wobbly. There are no options, and this is difficult. Great grab. Barons. Oh, and fingertip D. GT's starting to have a bit more trouble now in terms of moving it. Good D by Russ. They used to they were looking for the dumps earlier on and the swings. They've stopped doing that now. Great speed to close and get the D. Fatigue is an issue for Maverick right now. I'm trying to get to the middle of the field, and they're doing a decent job. And then someone's got to go and do that. And that didn't look in, but he's calling himself in. It's pretty close. Don't have much perspective from up here. And GT 12-5, I believe. Although I think they're calling the game, so my point system must be off somewhere. It might also be due to time. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I think they're playing one more point. And this would be game to 13 if GT scores it. So what can one say about today? Not much overall. I think we've seen a lot of interesting Ultimate. This game in particular, we expected it to be closer. And it looked like it was going to be a blowout. And then what GT has shown is that when they're tired, they're extremely vulnerable. And even when Maverick is tired, they're not that vulnerable. Vertical set up. An unmarked player goes up the field. Great layout.
Way to take away all the glory he just got on that wheel by
still not in.
No brakes! No brakes! No brakes!
Another grab off the grass. Maverick bringing some energy here. 12-6, line is now being called from GT's side. Trying to close this off. Maverick taking a little bit more time to set up the plan, as is GT. There doesn't seem to be any rush. 12-6 considering the day Maverick had. It's pretty good. GT 12-6. It's a good, confident win. Both teams can go away with something out of this game. Obviously, GT is probably going to go away with a win. And it's difficult. It's a difficult path to CUC for Maverick. They need a good day tomorrow. They should be getting it. CT should be coming down. So they get a bit more speed, maybe another set of fresh legs. Split stack. Deep player available. Still no huck. It's particularly difficult for cutters because of the sun. West gets a D there. Maverick. Getting stronger. A great cut there. There's to reset. Pick called. Some comments from the sideline how that stack needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I think we can agree. Oh, just poach player standing there in the space. He did not clear out. Let's hit an easy D. Rahil gonna pick up the disc. He's calling for a horizontal. They are complying. GT not having the same openness that they did before. Alex sending it big, but just doesn't float. Maverick with another shot. Pick called. Raul chirping the sideline a bit, or being chirped, so maybe just a conversation. There's a lot of contact there. This was caught.
It's live, it's in! Middle!
And there's one poach deep.
Yeah. Nice and easy, King. Go back, go back!
Oh, that's a nice throw. And Blaus closes it off. A good day for GT. 13-6, the final score here. Not as close a game as we expected, or many expected probably earlier on. However, given the reconstruction year and other circumstances, it was a good game for Maverick. And I think we can expect much more out of both of these squads in future years. We'll check in on them again tomorrow. We will see Phoenix and GT play later on. Second game, I think, tomorrow. And then there'll probably be finals involving Phoenix at some point as well. tomorrow. Probably second to last game, I believe. Anyhow, thank you for joining me. If you have questions, comments, please let me know. I will try to have a more stable stream tomorrow. I think I've gotten a few more issues worked out here. But apparently the last little bit has been all good. It doesn't seem to be an issue with the servers on the other end, as in the servers that you're connecting to. And the reason for that is